The Hollywood Chamber presents Voices of Influence with Vaughn Davis. What does African American History Month mean to you?
African American History Month is a very important month to me. It's something I think, honestly, across all ethnicities should be celebrated on a daily basis. But um, for me, specifically pertaining to African American History Month, it is the ability for our ethnic group to take a look at the historical context behind how our country was built, who helped support building everything that we see today, and how we as a people group have persevered and have reset ourselves, our images, our brand, to now be stalwarts within community to help support the continuous building of that original vision. I think it's also very important to shine a light on some of the pioneers, the individuals who have paved the way for us. I mean, it's a laundry list, but individuals obviously like Martin Luther King, as we all know, W.B. Du Bois is another phenomenal figure. Understanding even some of the recent figures like the Jay-Z's and Beyonce, of course, multi-billionaires who are titans of industry. If you know anything about Jay-Z's story, he started in a small little project in Brooklyn, and now look at him today. Understanding guys like individuals like LeBron James and Kevin Hart, who also are very focused on edifying community and giving us, this younger generation of African Americans in this country, the understanding that nothing is impossible. You can do anything you want to do. Once you're focused on it, you find a problem to be solved, and you can tap in and harness all of that energy from our ancestors and what they've accomplished to see what you can do today, bigger and better and brighter than anything has ever been done in the past.
As a board member of the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce, how do you see the organization contributing to diversity and inclusion in the community?
As a board member of the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce, I have been welcomed with open arms and connected with all of the key stakeholders and team members here at the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce who have been phenomenal. They have supported every endeavor across the board at my previous hotel, which was Dream Hollywood. And I think, it's important to mention the inclusiveness of this organization and how it looks to support businesses across the board. Not specifically looking at any ethnic group, but just businesses here in Hollywood. Pertaining to the African American community, they have amplified the voice of key stakeholders within that community, within different verticals and sectors, from food and beverage to venture capitalists and any of the other major components, especially the entertainment industry here in Hollywood too. And the Walk of Fame ceremonies are a great opportunity to highlight some of those absolutely transformative um, and epic feats of individuals. I was blessed enough to be able to go to a few Walk of Fame ceremonies and to see the outpour of love and adoration from the team here at the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce, but then also the community that attends those, I think, has been extremely impactful. And one of the other verticals of the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce that I love the most is, in actuality, the ability to connect with key stakeholders and give them key business insights and direction and guidance as to how to best promote their business, how to best be successful within the community. I think that's extremely huge. Specifically for the African American community, because the majority of stakeholders within this community are small business owners. We do have some notable figures like a Kevin Hart or LeBron James that own businesses within the community as well. But I think this level of service is mostly appreciated and salient for the small business community to give them those KPIs and help them understand like this is the way to best be successful and profitable with your business, and we're happy to support you along the way.
Who are some African American historical figures or contemporaries in Hollywood that inspire you?
Inspiration. It's my favorite thing. It's how I start every day. In actuality, I watched a motivational video this morning with Jay-Z, just talking about his background and talking about his life and how he accomplished everything that he accomplished in his life, which is incredible. I mean, think of his story, where he started in the projects in Brooklyn. That story resonates with me because I grew up in after Guyana in Eastern New York, Brooklyn. And I lived in Linden Plaza right across the street from Pink Houses, which I had to walk through the housing projects every day to get to school. I went to IS 218 junior high school. And, one of the things for me that always stood out was the perseverance and just the tenacity of individuals within those communities to uplift others, but just be hyper focused on finding ways to get out of the community and create something special in the world and then come back and then give back to that community, uplifting it. So that video for me this morning really got me fired up. And he's a huge influence on my life and motivation on my life. In actuality, my second big modeling gig when I first started was Rockaware. So it's all come full circle. Having the ability to be in meetings with key executives from his company and hearing them speak about their strategy and their excitement for the future of their industry and what they do and the why behind it, I think is extremely impactful. Martin Luther King had a huge impact on me. Some individuals say that we have the same temperament and the same mindset about just edifying the collective good, but I think that comes from learned behaviors through him. Um, Knowing what Jackie Robinson had to uh, persevere through and overcome, I think that was also something that was really impactful for me and resonated for quite some time. Denzel Washington, George Washington Carver, what he has created. I mean, I don't even know how many patents this man had, but if you take a look at some of the inventions that he has created, those have impacted the entire world in a positive way. Rosa Parks and having the boldness to stand up for something that wasn't correct and needed to be fixed, and she did it in such a tactful way. I think those are individuals that I constantly tap into to resonate with their energy to create a better world and a better place for all of us.
Growing up in Guyana and moving to the U.S. at a young age, how did your cultural background shape your perspective?
Yeah, growing up in Guyana was extremely impactful for me. That was the first 8 years of my life, and as everyone knows, those are the most formative years of any adolescent's life. And being able to traverse through the farmland from my mom's parents' farm that they owned, and then also being able to spend an additional 2 weeks throughout the summer with my father's parents, which my grandfather was a leathersmith, and getting to connect with him. And he always used to make me slippers and belts and all these different leather goods that I probably still have to this day. Those things don't ever run out. They don't have an expiration date, by the way. It's real leather. And going through that process with my siblings and my cousins and growing up with them and learning how to fish on your own or learning how to cook your own food when you're out in the jungle or out on the beach or connecting on the farmland. I think those things really prepared me because those were life skills that you don't necessarily have here in the U.S. And learning that while it's also going through the educational system that I went through, I learned the Queen's English and the Queen's Mathematics, and I had the privilege of attending the first private school called Mays Under 12 in Guyana. In the history of the country, as we all know, it was a least developed country at the time when I was there, and now it's considered an emerging economy in the same category as China and India. But my mom did a phenomenal job and worked really hard to ensure that she could support me with the education and prepare me for seemingly a goal of hers, which was to move to America to embark on living the American dream. And I think that preparation and the culmination of it, whilst moving here to the US and first living in Ozone Park, Queens, and then moving to East New York, Brooklyn, and then from there to Southside Jamaica, Queens, and then subsequently to Long Island, where I went to university. I think everything in Guyana really set me up for success. There's nothing that comes my way that's too great of a feat or it's too challenging. I mean, think of that lifestyle in a least developed country while you're trying to make it, trying to survive. Even though I was gratefully privileged by all the hard work of my mom, it still was a challenging environment. And then coming to America and having that same mentality, that same tenacity, that same drive, that same hunger to establish my family, my lineage, my legacy here in America has been propelling me all the way through 37 years of my life. So thank you, Guyana. Thanks, Mom.
Mentoring is a big part of your life. What advice would you give young African American professionals aspiring to succeed in Hollywood or their chosen field?
I love this question. Mentoring individuals is huge for me. It's that one species movement I was talking about, and the edification of others, iron sharpens iron mentality. And I don't even know. I think it's definitely over 200 individuals that I mentor, and they have access to my phone. They can call me, text me anytime. Mentorship isn't conducted the way it was conducted in the past, where it was like an hour-long meeting for everyone, and you were connecting with them on a continuous basis. It's more so now I'm a support mechanism or support structure for them. And I mentor kids from underserved, underprivileged communities all the time. There's actually one I had a call with most recently, who is a well-accomplished collegiate athlete, a football player, a wide receiver, and he's entering into the Marriott Business School as a part of the BYU community. And he was just picking my brain. He was just so excited about this next step and wanted to know, what to focus on and how to move forward. And being able to share everything I've learned and everything I've consumed from an educational or informational standpoint throughout my life, to give a launch pad to a young man or a young woman or young person who, as we all know, historically within those underserved, underprivileged communities, the curriculums are a tad different than they are. That's why they call it higher education, right? And understanding that the support structure and the education, especially within the financial literacy space, is not there. I'll give you an example. I'm going to Hofstra University, first year. I had a statistics class. I'm in class. All my friends that went to the private schools, K through 12, that were anywhere between $50,000 to $100,000 a year, they had already, by third grade, they were taking statistics. They understood the stock market and how to trade on the stock market. They understood what financial statements were and how to balance a checkbook, right? They were learning this as young as third grade. I can tell you, at PS 124, we did not have that curriculum, unfortunately. So now we are hyper-focused on how do we build the structure and the framework to teach individuals from underserved, underprivileged communities those topics, those subjects. But then within the mentorship realm, I'm now able to give direction on how to launch a company, how to market your business, how to manage your expenses, how to read financial statements, just generate revenue, talent acquisition. I mean, you name it. I'm able to give that direct guidance to a young person from an underserved, underprivileged community anytime they need it. That, to me, is extremely impactful and extremely empowering, because now we're able to give the guidance that, interestingly enough, is very difficult to find that information. But we're able to give it to hungry individuals from these communities that really want to learn and are really excited about exploring the world of being an entrepreneur or being C-suite at a company, or how to get started and what industry to get into and what should they focus on. And talking to this young man from BYU, I was able to really guide him in the right direction in ways that he can create an interconnected business or empire for his family off of pre-existing businesses that they already have. Long gone are the days where we need to step into our own realm and build our own separately as part of a corporation. This younger generation is extremely excited about building their own. And I like to connect the dots and say, well, if your dad has this business, if your mom has this business, and your aunt has this business, and it ties into what you're passionate about, why don't you create the missing component to bring it all together? so you can create your own lasting legacy within your community and inspire others to do the same.
Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel or visit hollywoodchamber.net for more information.